I've put out a couple of videos now on my NZXT Starter Plus that I'm using as my streaming machine. And the number one question is still, how is it for gaming? So I moved the capture card from the NZXT Plus to my other computer and used it strictly for gaming for 1 week. And this is my review of how that went. 6-8 Bravo. Hey, if you're in the market for a new coffee mug or maybe a new mouse pad, pop on over to the merchandise store. We've also got t-shirts and hoodies. I also have a gaming stream on Twitch, and I'm live every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. So just to make it clear, I was not gaming and streaming at the same time on the NZXT Plus. I was strictly using it for gaming, and the signal was just going to the other computer for streaming. For Call of Duty, I used the GeForce Experience settings. I had messed with the settings at first, trying to set everything to low and trying to get it set to where it needed to be, but it seemed to have a lot of issues with freezing up every now and then. So I just used the automatic GeForce Experience settings for optimization. The gameplay was fairly good. I mean, it did have an occasional little freeze on the screen, but everything was still very playable. During gameplay, I used the NZXT cam overlay, and I set it to show FPS, the CPU, and the GPU. So for Call of Duty, as you can see, I don't know why it wasn't registering any GPU usage. I mean, it obviously uses the GPU, but for whatever reason, it just didn't register anything. But as you can see, that i5 was really taxed out on the CPU. It was always in the 90s, and sometimes when it would bump up to 100%, that's when a momentary freeze would occur, and that just depended on what was going on at the game at the time, I think. The average FPS that I would get in Call of Duty was between the 70s, and sometimes it would go up to the 90s. So between 70 and 90, it kind of fluctuated between that depending on what it was rendering on screen. Overall, the gameplay was pretty good, except for the occasional freezing, and it seemed to happen at the most inopportune time. But very playable, and I still think upgrading the CPU and GPU would improve, especially with a game that uses a lot of CPU like Call of Duty. When I was playing Fortnite on the NZXT Starter Plus, I mean, the gaming was butter smooth. It never had any issues. As you can see by the cam overlay, CPU was averaged around, mid-range, a little higher than mid-range, and the GPU was also being displayed as well. This thing ran great. Now, let me show you the settings that I used when I was playing Fortnite, and because I didn't optimize with the GeForce Experience or anything. I have settings that I personally set up that I like to use when I'm playing Fortnite. I think it just looks the best, and it plays the best that way. So here are those settings. Window mode, full screen. My resolution's 1080. Unlimited frame rate. 3D resolution 100%. View distance epic. Shadows off. Anti-aliasing off. Textures epic. Effects low. Post-processing low. I don't have VSync on. I turn off motion blur. I don't need to show FPS because it's showing with my NZXT overlay. Multi-threaded rendering on, and crash debugging off. So these are the settings I use. There have been a lot of other questions on the comments of some of my videos about, Rainbow Six and GTA 5. I mainly just play these two games, so that's what I played during that week. I'm sure those games will work fine on this PC. Call of Duty is very taxing on the PC, and If it can play that, I'm pretty sure it can play the other games. Now, something like maybe Red Dead Redemption, it might be able to play, but it might have some issues with. I don't know. I've never played that game, so don't quote me on that. But man, for the money to use it as a gaming PC, I don't see where you can go wrong. Now I'll be switching it back to my streaming only PC for now. Maybe eventually, maybe next year or something, I can have a project where I upgrade the video card and the processor and start using it for my gaming. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give me a like, follow, and we'll see you next time. Stay safe. 6-8 Bravo.